Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Bite Size Insight with Monique, Season 3, Episode 3. We are continuing with Matthew. We are in Chapter 2 now, okay? And Chapter 2 brings us the story of Herod and Jesus, the wise men, and let's dive into it, all right? So, verses 2 through, we'll say, 12 is all about the wise men coming from the east looking for the king because they came to worship him. Now, I did a Mythbusters on this. I did a Christmas Mythbusters, so you can check that out. Scroll down, look at a previous episode in regards to this whole story. So I don't want to get too much into that because I already explained and expounded on it there. But wise men, there were not three. Okay, I know that is a big misconception. People thinking there were three wise men. No, there were three gifts. But magi, back in that era, back in that time, they traveled in anywhere from 20 to 50 was the size of their groups. Okay, so there were three gifts that were brought, but there was more than just three wise men, three magi that came. Okay, and some things that I want to point out is starting in verse 8. Okay. So it says, and he sent them to Bethlehem and said, go and search carefully for the young child. And when you have found him, bring back word to me that I may come and worship him also. When they heard the king, they departed, and behold, a star which they had seen in the east went before them till it came and stood over where the young child was. When they saw the star, they rejoiced with exceedingly great joy. And when they had come into the house, they saw the young child with Mary, his mother, and fell down and worshipped him. And when they had opened their treasures, they presented gifts to him, gold, frankincense, myrrh. So a couple things to point out. The magi, the wise men, were not at the manger scene, y'all. Did you not read go back to verse 8, where it says the young child. Verse 9, young child. Verse 11, young child. And verse 11, they went into the house. So there was no manger. The wise men were not at the manger scene, even though I know the beautiful display at Christmas time. And that's fine. You know what? Y'all just go ahead and keep them there. I know you like the way it looks, but it was just shepherds and animals were actually on the manger scene when Jesus was born. They were now in a house. Okay, so they had a home. And this is when the wise men came. So people typically believe around 2-3 years old, 2 to 4 years old is what Jesus was when the wise men arrived and presented these gifts to him. These gifts, verse 11, gold, frankincense, myrrh. Again, go back and listen to this episode because I go into depth about this and I give you some really great historical context as well. With these gifts, y'all, Jesus was not poor. As much as people like to preach that Jesus was poor, no, he wasn't. Jesus was wealthy, and it was because of the gifts of the wise men. I believe it's either the frankincense or it's the myrrh. The amount that they brought would have been more than the gold that they have brought because of how precious it actually was and where it came from at that time in the world. So like I said, go back, really re-listen to the episode and listen to it if you haven't already. My Christmas Mythbusters. And I think you'll be like, wow, it'll be very insightful for you. Go back to verse 5 of chapter 2. It says, so they said to him in Bethlehem, the wise men speaking to King Herod, and verse 6, but you, Bethlehem, in the land of Judah, are not the least among the rulers of Judah. For out of you shall come a ruler who will shepherd my people. Okay, so this is a prophecy fulfilled because like I said, remember, Matthew, the writer of Matthew, is a Jew writing about a Jew to Jews because he really wants to show that Jesus is the Messiah. Jesus is the long-awaited Messiah. He is the Son of God. He is whom he would say that he is by bringing up constantly prophecies that have been spoken about of him and showing how he has fulfilled them. Okay, so that is Matthew's aim when it comes to his writings, when he's writing his book. Okay, verse 15, we see another prophecy that Matthew wrote that Jesus fulfilled. It says, "And was there until the death of Herod, that it might be fulfilled, which was spoken by the Lord through the prophet, saying, Out of Egypt I have called my son." Verse 17, "Then was fulfilled what was spoken by Jeremiah the prophet, saying, A voice was heard in Ramah, lamentation, weeping and great mourning, Rachel weeping for her children, refusing to be comforted, because there are no more." And that is referring to when Herod went and killed all the babies 2 years old and under, trying to get rid of Jesus. So again, Matthew showing that Jesus is fulfilling all of these prophecies, that he is the Messiah. He is the one to come. Okay. Another thing I want to address, and what I hear a lot of people saying, is that God doesn't speak in dreams anymore, that dreams have passed away, according to in Jeremiah and according to other places in Old Testament, that is not a way, that God only speaks through his word and that's it. Friends, that is not true. God still speaks to people in dreams today. Okay. Here in this story, we have that the Magi were actually warned in a dream not to return to Herod, but to go home another way, which we've got there, verse 12. "Then being divinely warned in a dream that they should not return to Herod, they departed for their own country another way." Right away, look at verse 13. "Now when they had departed, behold, an angel of the Lord appeared to Joseph in a dream, saying, Arise, and take the young child and his mother, flee to Egypt, and stay there until I bring you word, for Herod will seek the young child to destroy his life." Then, go to verse 19. "And when Herod was dead, behold, an angel of the Lord appeared in a dream to Joseph in Egypt, saying, Arise, take the young child and his mother, and go to the land of Israel, for those who sought the young child's life are dead." Okay, so we see, and you're going to see it all throughout the New Testament, y'all. Yes, God still speaks to people through dreams. As much as you may hear some online influencers say that has passed away, it's not true, y'all. He still speaks in dreams to people today. Okay, so that is just something I wanted to address. But Matthew chapter 2, like I said, you've got the story of Herod, the wise men. Go check out the previous Mythbusters. Oh, because the other Mythbusters that I did was that Jesus was poor, and that is a huge Mythbuster. There's a 2-part series to that because I had to go into more detail because people trying to come for me, but I gave you so much detail in there about that no, our Savior was wealthy. He was not poor. Okay, so go listen to that podcast before you make a comment or ask a question, and I believe it'll answer some of those questions you have. But God still speaks to us in dreams. Yes, he absolutely does. And look at the obedience of Joseph. Once again, highlighting Joseph's character. How the angel came, warned him in a dream, take the child, flee to Egypt. And you stay there and until I bring you word. So we don't really know how long it was that they stood in Egypt before they came back to Israel. But regardless, they waited until an angel spoke to him again. And Joseph was obedient to that word, even though he had no further instructions. He had no details as to what to do, but he took them, fled to Egypt, and figured it out. Like God guided him to make wise decisions. You know what I mean? And that was faith. This man did it by faith to protect his wife, to protect Jesus. And he waited until he got word, and then he went back. So again, a man of great character, a man of great faith is Joseph. But this, y'all, is Matthew chapter 2. There's so much more. I'm so looking forward to going through each chapter with you because there's so many good things and that I just want to highlight and pull out from each chapter. But I encourage you, read it along. Take a chapter a week, really read it, go over it, look through it, study it out, get it in your spirit as we go through each chapter. And go ahead and send me a question, send me a thought, comment. You can send me an email, info@moniquedeleon.com, and I'd be glad to respond to you. And even as we go through Matthew, but if there's something else you want me to talk about, let me know and I'll be glad to do so. And I will see y'all next time.